Quick info to avoid confusion. The following video has some references to the YouTuber Boy in a Band because the original video that most parts of this video are taken from was specifically for Boy in a Band. So if you hear me referring to Boy in a Band or Dave, then the reason is that redoing those parts for this video just to remove the Boy in a Band context was simply too time consuming, so I just kept them as they were. The quality and comprehensibility of this video shouldn't suffer from that. Hey there, my name is Vanir, and today I am here to make some myths about veganism disappear. Because while veganism currently seems to be more of a meme to many, rather than a topic that's to be taken seriously, there are indeed facts and logic that strongly suggest that not only you or me, but all of our society should go vegan. Now, if you find that statement provocative and/or questionable, then I totally get that. I would just ask you to first watch the full video and then write a comment about how much it sucks if that's what you think about it. And of course, if you doubt or disagree with any of the information I present here after having watched the whole thing, then
Satan shall punish you eternally.
I meant to say, then feel free to share your thoughts and concerns in the comments down below. With that out of the way, get ready for a video filled with facts and logic and attempts to make this somehow entertaining enough so you stick with me for 25 minutes. Meow. Sources will of course all be in the description, and without any further ado, let's start the crash course. Part 1. Health. Health is arguably one of the most important aspects we need to discuss, because it's much more difficult to reject every other argument for veganism once you realize that those arguments aren't thrown at you by sickly, almost dead vegans, but by healthy and definitely not protein deficient dudes and dudettes. So let's see what the world's largest organization of nutritional professionals says about the healthfulness of vegan diets. And I quote, "Appropriately planned vegan diets are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and appropriate for all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, adolescence, older adulthood, and for athletes." In other words, humans can be perfectly healthy eating just plant foods, and therefore eating animal products is, factually speaking, needless. Of course, like with every other diet, there are things to pay attention to in order to avoid running into any problems down the dietary road. We won't go into that in this video though, because this isn't a how to be vegan video, but a why be vegan video. Alright, so until now I was only showing you why you shouldn't be concerned about dropping animal products from your diet, but there are also legitimate reasons to why you should even look forward to dropping them from your diet. So, let's look at
5 reasons you should ditch meat, dairy, and eggs.
Number 1. Lactose intolerance. 65% of all humans are lactose intolerant. And even if you're not lactose intolerant, dairy still brings some other problems with it. Two big ones here are the high amounts of saturated fat and cholesterol, both of which we will talk more about in reason number 5. In a nutshell, cow milk sucks if you are not a baby cow and should therefore only be sucked by baby cows. Number 2. Hypertension. Sounds like a Pokemon attack. But it actually just means you have high blood pressure. So it's pretty neat that vegans are up to 75% less likely to have that problem. Number 3. Diabetes. Pretty far up there in terms of causes of death. Vegans have an about 50% decreased chance of getting type 2 diabetes compared to omnis. Number 4. Cancer. There are many types of cancer. And while a vegan diet won't protect you against all of them, keep in mind not all cancers are diet related, and also many vegans have a rather junk food heavy diet, which isn't all that helpful either. Vegans overall still have a 15% reduced risk of suffering from total cancer. And considering how many people die from cancer every year, I would say 15% is definitely worth mentioning. Number 5. Strokes and heart disease. Strokes and heart disease are both caused by clogged arteries. The fancy name for that is atherosclerosis. The only cause for atherosclerosis is bad cholesterol levels, which are caused by diets high in dietary cholesterol, only found in animal products, and saturated fats, mostly found in animal products. So yeah, if you want to not be that 1 out of 7 or 1 out of 31, then ditching animal products is definitely a good idea. Fun fact, a whole food plant-based diet is the only diet that has been shown to even reverse heart disease. That should do it for the first part of our crash course. To sum it up, we do not need animal products to survive or to be healthy, and so it's by definition needless to consume them. Keep that in mind for the coming parts. And on top of all that, banishing meat, dairy and eggs from your plate can even help protect you against a variety of illnesses, some of which are very deadly. Okay, on to part 1.5, taste and price. At first, I didn't want to include these 2 points into the list at all, but I have heard bacon though just a little too often, and a diet also needs to be affordable, so fair enough, here we go. Taste. One of the most common concerns I hear is that vegan food just tastes too plain, so let's go over some vegan foods and see how plain they are. Number 1, fruits. I don't think I have to say much about this one. I mean, who would ever think that, for example, pineapples taste plain? They are freaking amazing. Also on pizza. Change my mind. Number 2, vegetables. If you are used to eating chicken legs drenched in oil, salt, herbs and what have you, then yeah, your tongue probably has a hard time appreciating the taste of usually much less seasoned veggies. But do not fret, you don't have to eat multiple unseasoned veggie side dishes to replace that chicken. You can simply add some, number 3, legumes to your plate. You can put them next to your veggies, use them to prepare stews, soups, burgers, and maybe most importantly, hummus. Oh, and legumes are also the ultimate answer to everyone's favorite concern about veganism.
Protein though. Do I look
Protein deficient!
No, sir.
Number 4, grains. Oats, wheat, rice, buckwheat, quinoa, and so on are at your fingertips. Products made from grains include pasta, bread, pizza, dumplings, etc. You get the idea. You can do a lot with them. Bottom line is, you just need to learn what plants to combine and how to season them. Fortunately, there are a ton of good vegan cooking channels here on YouTube that can help you do that. Oh, and just to remind you, all the extra stuff we use to overstimulate our taste buds are vegan already. Salt, sugar, herbs, spices, oils, flavor enhancers, smoking aroma, it's all vegan. So if you care about that kind of taste experience, then you can just drown plants in those things instead of animal products. Price. Staple foods like oats, rice, pasta, bread, lentils, beans, seasonal fruits and vegetables, etc. are super cheap. And unless you stuff your fridge with fancy vegan meat substitutes or go to expensive vegan restaurants every day, then you will be off cheaper on a vegan diet compared to a diet with animal products. Even with all the government subsidies and externalized costs that make animal products affordable in the first place. Part 2. Environment.
He realizes that people who deny climate change as a world-ending threat are idiots.
I feel like this could be the part for Dave and everyone else who is rightfully concerned about the environment. Because the environmental argument is probably the most concrete argument that there is for veganism. So let's start this one by disagreeing with one of Dave's heroes, Elon Musk.
Because, as he explained it, climate change needs to be dealt with, and the biggest consumption of that is cars.
Elon has undoubtedly been correct on many things in his life, seeing how he got, you know. But still, the latter part of Elon's statement is just factually wrong. Yes, climate change needs to be dealt with, and yes, getting away from fossil fuels is great, but the biggest issue here is animal agriculture. A little known fact is that animal agriculture is responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than the combined exhaust from all transportation. Let that sink in for a minute. Okay, maybe 2 seconds is enough. Want some more scary facts?
No!
Did I hear go? Okay, here we go. 82% of starving children live in countries where food is fed to animals, and the animals are eaten by people in Western countries. Animal agriculture is responsible for up to a whopping 91% of Amazon destruction. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of species extinction, ocean dead zones, water pollution, and habitat destruction. For every 1 pound of fish caught, up to 5 pounds of unintended marine species are caught and discarded as bykill, which amongst others includes dolphins, whales, sea turtles, sharks, and squids. After rewatching the video, I felt like this part needs an addition. Cartoon animals and SpongeBob references are nice and all, but don't get the wrong idea from my cartoon drawings. The problem is very real. 3/4 of the world's fisheries are already exploited or depleted, and we could see fishless oceans by 2048, which would pretty much screw all life on Earth as we know it. I don't know about you, but I think the fact that hardly anybody knows of statistics like these is absolutely insane! But who is telling us about those things? Schools aren't, the mainstream media isn't, Prince E isn't. Why is that though? Why is hardly anybody trying to educate the masses on how we can largely stop climate change by simply going to different aisles in the supermarket? Because it's an uncomfortable truth. Uncomfortable for the respective industries because they are making a crap ton of money from dooming us all, and uncomfortable for the consumer because it would mean that they would have to make inconvenient changes to their eating habits. Everything I mentioned so far really is just the tip of the iceberg, so I highly recommend you check out the documentary Cowspiracy to get a better idea of the whole environmental stuff. They list all their sources on their website, and the documentary is on Netflix for your convenience, so no excuses to not watch it.
Cowspiracy? Psh, is that about tinfoil hat wearing cows or something?
It may sound like that, but it is in fact a Leonardo DiCaprio-backed, fact-packed documentary, try to say that 5 times fast, about how animal agriculture screws up life on our planet. The bottom line of this second part is, unless we as individuals and as a society as a whole change our eating habits very, very soon, life on Earth as we know it is doomed. So if we don't want everything to go to crap, then we must not rely on individuals like Elon Musk to fix all the problems for us. We all have to fix this together. And the most practicable and effective way to do that is to ditch animal products and educate others on why they should ditch animal products too. Part 3. Ethics and Morality. Well, you must have seen this one coming.
But morality is subjective. That drivel has no place in a discussion about facts and logic.
Yes, morality is subjective, more about that in a few moments, but stick with me and you will see that there is indeed a place for this third part in our discussion. So, let's start with fun with facts. Well, I guess it's a bit misleading to call these facts fun. Beep! Let's start with distress with data. Yeah, that fits better. Number 1. Pigs have been proven to be as intelligent and emotionally complex as dogs. Think about that the next time you feel bad for the cats and dogs that are bred and slaughtered in parts of China and Korea, when you don't feel bad for the pigs that you eat. Number 2. Cows do not magically turn grass, corn, soy, etc. into milk. No, for a cow to produce milk, they first must give birth to a calf. This means dairy cows are impregnated every year in order to keep continuous milk supply. Number 3. Of course, cow milk is for humans, not for baby cows. So, dairy calves are taken away from their mothers usually within 24 to 72 hours of birth in order to ensure as much milk as possible can be acquired from the mother. Number 4. Separation of mother and child is an incredibly traumatic experience, and both will cry out for days. Male baby cows will either get killed and discarded as byproducts or get killed a bit later to end up as baby meat, aka veal. Oh, and female calves of course will suffer the same fate as their mothers. Yep, the dairy industry is hell on earth. Number 5. Male chicks are useless to the egg industry, so they are killed immediately after birth. It is estimated that up to 40 million day-old male chicks are killed each year in the UK alone by being either gassed or thrown into a macerator. They are blended a freaking life. This practice occurs in all egg farming systems, including organic. And can I just remind everybody that not only do we not need any of this to happen, remember part 1, but also do these practices give us products that about 65% of all humans are intolerant to anyway, clog our arteries to the point that it kills millions of people every single year, and are the #1 cause of environmental destruction. Yeah, I think it's fair to say that funding industries like that isn't a good idea. But let's move on from the facts to the logic, because geez, this video is getting long already. As mentioned before, I agree that morals are based on subjectivity, but once a person has a set of moral beliefs, we can test that moral system on its logical consistency. It goes kind of like this. Brace your brain cells. Random Guy says that having trait X justifies treatment Y, but in a different context he says having trait X does not justify treatment Y. This leads us to the conclusion that Random Guy is morally and logically inconsistent on this matter, because according to him, trait X per se does and doesn't justify treatment Y. In other words, Random Guy is a hypocrite. Of course, Random Guy can adjust his beliefs to no longer be a hypocrite. He can either reject trait X as a valid justification for treatment Y in all contexts, or he can accept trait X as a valid justification for treatment Y in all contexts. In which case we may call him absolutely insane, but we could at least not call him inconsistent. What I just explained is a neat consistency test. In our case, we will use it to go through some traits that animals possess or lack, X, that are commonly used by people to justify stabbing those animals to turn them into burgers and things like that. Why? Of course, you can test your moral consistency all by yourself if you are intellectually honest enough, but the following 3 examples may give you a better understanding of how all this works. Example number 1.
I like the taste of cow meat, therefore it's okay to slit cow throats.
Okay, so X is tastiness. Let's see if Random Guy accepts tastiness as a valid argument for needless killing in other contexts too.
I like the taste of human meat, therefore it's okay to slit human throats.
Do you agree with Carl Cannibal?
You crazy, mate? Of course not.
Alright, then the argument tastiness per se is no valid argument to kill. Name a different trait that cows possess or lack that would justify turning them into burgers. Alternatively, you can stop paying others to kill them. Example 2.
Alright, other animals eat meat too. It happens in nature, it's natural, so it's okay.
X is it's natural. Let's see if Random Guy accepts it's natural as a valid argument for needless killing in other contexts too.
Other animals rape too. It happens in nature. It's natural, so it's okay.
Alright, you can go now. So, do you agree with Simon Sicko?
No.
Then the argument it's natural per se is no valid argument to kill. Name a different trait that cows possess or lack that would justify turning them into burgers. Alternatively, you can stop paying others to kill them. Example 3.
Let me try one more. Ah, right. Cows can't understand the concept of morality, so they don't deserve moral consideration.
Okay, X is lack of moral agency. Let's see if Random Guy accepts lack of moral agency as a valid argument for needless killing in other contexts too. This guy is intellectually disabled, he can't understand the concept of morality, so he doesn't deserve moral consideration. Let's slit his throat. It's okay, yes?
No, stop! He still feels pain, jeez!
Then,
the argument lack of moral agency per se is no valid argument to kill, yada yada yada. I know. Can I go now?
Sure. Alrighty then. For a more in-depth look into this name the trait consistency test, I recommend you check out the links of my Theeeeese list in the description box below the video. Speaking of recommendation, here's one more. And this one is as much of a challenge as it is a recommendation. Check out Land of Hope and Glory. Nope, not this one, my dear Brits. This one. This documentary shows what happens on a daily basis to animals before they are put into packaging with smiling cartoon faces printed on them. It's on YouTube for free and it's relatively short, so please give it a watch. The reason I challenge you to watch Land of Hope and Glory is because when we talk about things like billions of animals dying every year, causing needless harm and so on, it all sounds pretty abstract. We are so detached from the consequences of our eating habits.
Oh no, consequences.
And it all seems so abstract that some people really seem to think that
bacon, though,
is actually a valid argument in a debate about the moral issues of consuming animal products. Okie dokie, with that we conclude part 3. Conclusion. To sum up the past 20-something minutes, 1. Eating animal products is factually needless because vegan diets are healthful if done right and are even shown to help prevent crap like ischemic heart disease, type 2 diabetes, hypertension and certain types of cancer, among other things. 2. While AI may eventually doom humankind, animal agriculture definitely will if we don't shift from animal products to plant products very soon. 3. Stabbing animals for taste, pleasure and convenience is hard to morally justify. Once more, all sources are in the description alongside with a watch these list with videos/documentaries that I cannot recommend you enough. And no matter how uncomfortable the topic may make you feel, the evidence is pretty clear. Being vegan is the most logical way to live in our day and age. But again, if you doubt or disagree with anything I said in the video, fair enough. Please leave a comment or make a response video. And if you disagree with anything I said, then please provide sources, that would be great. That's almost it. This video took me many weeks to make, so please, if you care even one bit about this topic, rate the video, leave a comment, support me on Patreon, and most importantly, share the video. Yeah, that's it. Cheers for watching, have a nice day.